Hi guys, so I'm back with another book haul slash in my mailbox. This is going to be a huge haul. I have about 17 books to show you. Once again, had no intention of getting this many books, but they just accumulated, and then seemingly out of nowhere I had like 17 books piled up. I'm like, what the hell? So bear with me. I'm going to try not to talk so much. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm going to try. So the first book I have is a book that I won from a fellow blogger quite a while ago, but it took a while to arrive because she lives in Kuwait, I think it is. So she sent me a copy of her self-published book, and it's Against All Odds by Alia El-Nashar, and I think it's just a little YA contemporary. So I have that, and she also sent me some swag. She sent me some trading cards for My Super Sweet 16th Century by Rachel Harris, and then they have the two main characters on the back, as well as a bookmark for that book and a little temporary tattoo. And she also sent me some really cool bookmarks that are on papyrus. So you have the Egyptian god Sekher there, and they do have this tassel, but you can also just take the papyrus out, which is really cool. And the other one is of the hieroglyphic alphabet. And I have a really big love for Egyptology, so these are really cool. And I thought I'd show you the stamps that it took to get to me. Look at all of them. So yeah, thank you so much for that. Then from Bloomsbury I have Operation Eiffel Tower by Ellen Caldecott, and this is for younger readers. It's more of a children's or middle grade book, and it's about 4 siblings that try to get their parents back together, but I thought it sounded really sweet, and I really love the bright vibrant cover to it. And then from Chocolate Publishing I have Move Over Darling by Christine Stover. It's not picking up very well on the can, but this is a really nice like mint green colour. It's really pretty, and they actually sent with the book a chocolate called Walnut Whips, and they are my favourite chocolate ever. So when I got that in the post, I was doing a real happy dance. Now onto the books that I bought. I bought quite a lot of books from the supermarket, so it wasn't too bad. These I got for 2 for £7, and they're part of the same series, and it's A Touch of Crimson by Sylvia Day and A Hunger So Wild by Sylvia Day. And I know that she writes a book similar to 50 Shades of Grey, but the reason I picked these up was, one, because they were so cheap in the supermarket, but because they're adult paranormal romance. Lara Adrian blurbed it. Now Lara Adrian is my favourite adult writer. She writes a series called The Midnight Breed. So I thought, oh, she's blurbed it, so it must be good. So I picked them up. And then these were £3.50 each, which for brand new releases when I picked them up was amazing. And I bought The Dark Heroine, Dinner with a Vampire by Abigail Gibbs. Haven't heard a lot about it, but I have heard it's being described as an adult Twilight. So not entirely sure on that. I don't like the cover, I think it's boring, and I don't like the font. But we shall see. Could be awesome. And then I also picked up Seizure by Kathy Wright. This is the second book in her young adult series. I do have book 1, which is called Virals, which I haven't read yet, so now maybe I've got book 2, I'll pick up Virals. But I've tried to read her adult books before, because the TV show Bones that is based off of the books is my favourite TV show, but I couldn't get into her books, so I'm hoping if I start with her young adult books it might get me into her adult books, so we shall see. And then I also picked up another one from the supermarket. It was just a random one, and it's Christmas Magic by Nora Roberts, and it contains like 2 short novella things. I tend to prefer her shorter books to her longer books, but I picked this one up solely because I do collect Nora Roberts books, but because I was looking through my shelves, sort of planning ahead, looking to see what I could feel like reading in December, and I saw I don't really have many Christmas books, and I felt like I really wanted to read something Christmassy this December. I do have 2 other Nora Roberts books that are set around Christmas, but I read them last year, so I didn't really want to reread them. So when I saw they had this, I just snapped it up. And then a lot of these books are sequels. Back in October, a lot of sequels and conclusions sort of came out, so I had to pick them up. I picked up Bitter Blood by Rachel Kane. This is book 13 in the Morganville Vampire series. I myself have only read up to the 6th book, but I like to pick them up when they come out because I am otherwise up to date. I do just keep buying them because I've loved what I've read so far, so I'm just going to keep reading them anyway. So yeah, this is Bitter Blood. So I'm really enjoying that series. If you haven't read the Morganville Vampires, you should at least pick up book 1 to see if you'll like it, because I think you'd like it because it's a really, really good series. Don't be put off because it's a vampire series. It's very different to a lot of YA vampire books, so you should check that one out. I also bought Seeking Crystal by Joss Sterling. This is the 3rd book in her Savant series. Book 1, Finding Sky, I absolutely love that book. The 2nd book, Steel and Phoenix, I enjoyed, but not as much as Finding Sky. So I'm hoping I'm going to love Seeking Crystal. Again, this is quite a different YA series. I like that each book is about a different couple. Awesome series. But again, I haven't seen many people read and review this, especially on BookTube. Haven't seen many reviews for this series. Then I bought the 4th and final book in the Caster Chronicles, Beautiful Redemption by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. I now have all of the series, but I've still only read book 1. I don't know why, because I did enjoy book 1, but I still haven't read book 2 or book 3. So I'm hoping to get to them at some point, some point. Maybe I'll try and read more once I've seen the movie that comes out next year. Maybe then that will motivate me to read the rest of the series. I then also picked up another final book, and that is Finale by Becca Fitzpatrick. And this was in the supermarket as well, actually, and it was £5 and it should be 11. So I nabbed it for that because that was obviously an amazing price. And I have all of the rest of the series in these hardbacks, so I wanted to pick it up when it came out so that it would match all my other copies. Again, with this series, I've only read book 1, but I do have book 1, book 2 and book 3 on my shelf, so now that the series is finished, I think I might get round to reading it that little bit quicker, maybe. So I have that. And then I had to pick this up. I had this pre-ordered, and that is The Evolution of Mara by Michelle Hodkin. The first book last year was a really, really hyped up release, and I know a lot of people were disappointed with it, but I waited till the hype died down to actually read it, and I only read The Unbecoming of Mara earlier this year. I read it in March, and I freaking loved it. I thought it was amazing, so I knew that I had to pick this one up. I don't know how soon I'll read it, because these books, the first book anyway, ended on a huge cliffhanger, so I think I might want to read this one that little bit closer to the time when the next book comes out. Maybe I'll read it in March, so like a year after I read the first one exactly, so it's not so much of a wait for the next book. So yeah, I have that. If you've actually read The Unbecoming of Mara, let me know what you thought of it, because I really enjoyed it, but I've seen so many negative reviews for it, so yeah, I was kind of disappointed that so many people didn't like it when I really enjoyed it. I then picked up Juliet Immortal by Stacey J, and I got this because the Book Depository had it for about £8, and for a US hardback copy, that's really good. And this has been on my wish list for quite a long time, but it hasn't been very high up on my wish list. You know, I've gone, oh yeah, I'll pick that up at some point. Yeah, I'll pick that up. And again, I've heard really mixed reviews for this book, but the reason I picked this one up is because the sequel, Romeo Redeemed, I heard about that about 5 months ago, and I loved the cover for it, and the sound of it really drew me in. I thought I have to read that, and I thought the second one sounded much more intriguing and hooked me in much more than the sound of book one did, but of course it's a sequel, so I need to get book one first. And I love the cover for this, and Juliet Walker's in gold. So I was really pleased to actually finally just get and buy this book. It's taken me such a long time. And then of course I picked up Romeo Redeemed when that came out, and this cover, oh my gosh, this cover is just gorgeous. I love it. I love how she's like turning to sea foam right there. It's so good. I love this cover. And again, underneath it's blue and black and then silver. So I can't wait to check these out now that I actually have them, but I'm not sure, like basically they're retellings of Romeo and Juliet. Basically the greatest love story ever told is a lie. I don't think it's the greatest love story ever. That's just the tagline right there. And instead of killing himself when he goes to Juliet's tomb, he kills Juliet. And then she's given immortality to basically spread true love, and he's given immortality to destroy true love. So they're against each other. So sounds interesting, a little bit different. So I picked them up finally, and they look really nice on the shelf. So I'm really pleased I got them both in hardback. The next book that I got, I really like the sound of, and the cover is beautiful, and that is Venom by Fiona Paul. It's so pretty. It's so nice. And it has deckled edges. I don't know if you can. What's the best way of showing deckled edges? Is that it? Yeah. This is only like my third book with deckled edges, and when I saw that it had them, I was like, yes. And underneath it's a really nice purple hardback. And this is a historical murder mystery, I think. It sort of sounds like a Jack the Ripper sort of story, but it's not about Jack the Ripper. It's about brutal murders in Venice, and this girl tries to find out who's doing it, and then she meets an artist, but she's engaged. A Cass stumbles upon the body of a murdered woman with a bloody X carved across her heart. So it sounds really interesting, and I'm trying to show you. Yeah, it's got at parts it's got these pages that are from the Book of the Eternal Rose, and it looks like it's all about anatomy and things like that. So it sounds really interesting. It's the first book in a series, so I don't know how soon I'll get to it, but I love historical fiction. I especially love books set in Venice, and I actually collect Venetian masks, so this book had everything to draw me to it basically. So really looking forward to checking this one out. And that book actually came with a bookmark for the Breathless Reads. So yeah, that was a surprise. I was just flicking through it and that flew out at my face. The last book that I got was kind of a splurge on my part. I had no idea this book was even coming out, and then it just popped up, and I bought the Twilight Saga: The Complete Film Archive. It's quite a beastly book, and it's hardback as well. And I am a fan of this series. Please don't hate me. I know Twilight gets a lot of hate, but I don't hate it. And basically, when it first came out, I was a really hardcore fan, and I pretty much picked up everything. And I started to collect the movie companions, and I have all of them. So I thought, oh, there must be a fifth one coming out for Breaking Dawn Part 2. So I went on to try and find it, and I couldn't find the movie companion for Part 2. so I don't know if there is one, but this popped up instead, and it should have been £30. I thought, that's expensive, but I got it for £16, which at almost half price I thought it was worth it. And it basically tells the story of the Twilight Saga from the very beginning to the very end. Let's just try and show you the contents page. There we go. And it's got loads and loads of pull out things. Like here you can see there's an envelope, and you get things like copies of invites to the premiere. At the back here you can see another huge envelope. That's got some posters in with I think it's printed cast signatures on it, which is really, really cool. My personal favourite thing in here is a copy of Edward and Bella's wedding invitation. I'm probably not going to be able to find it now, because now that I want to actually show somebody. Let's see if I can quickly hunt it down. Yeah, there it is. And you can pull that out, and then these pages also fold out into bigger pages. It's really, really cool. I'm really, really pleased that I did get it. So yeah, that's everything that I have to show you. No doubt there'll be another haul soon. Thank you so much for sticking with this video, and happy reading.